Well, when it comes to intercity rail transportation, as in trains, Japan is number one with a bullet thanks to the Shinkansen, its renowned network of bullet trains. Now, the network began all the way back in 1964. Today's fastest bullet trains, Kamachi and Hayabusa, reach speeds of 200 miles per hour. Now, our high-speed Nozomi train, operated by Japan Rail Central, operating since 1992, it's no slouch. Zipping at a top speed of 186 miles per hour, it covers Tokyo to Kyoto with a few stops in about 2.5 hours for a distance of 280 miles. And so we've taken the world's fastest train. That would be the Chinese Shanghai Maglev, clocking in at 286 miles, which is just insane. But we couldn't help for ourselves, and we splashed out for the green car, which is also known as the first class car. So, come on, ride the train, the Nozomi Shinkansen bullet train, 300 miles from Tokyo to Kyoto. It speeds up to 180 miles per hour. So I'm going to show you this map, and we're going to intercut scenes, a lot of video, and so you can kind of see just how industrial and completely dense the entire way is. There's really, there's some countryside, but believe me, every bit of that is, if it's not a mountain or something, is being used for industry or agriculture. Japan is very, very dense. So again, hop aboard, enjoy the ride. And it comes complete with a really tasty bento box lunch. What is in our bento box? Well, we have bento box, super ahi beer, and delicate team sandwiches. And that's the catering, which you have to order by phone, which is kind of challenging when the Wi-Fi barely works. And there is no other way. But sometimes Japan can just be infuriating. But most of the time, there is a workaround. After a very quick journey, we've arrived in Kyoto, Japan, and this is one of the World Heritage Cities. After Tokyo, this is the most visited and sought-after location in Japan. If for your first time, this has to be on your list. We've been here before, but it was in the winter, and guess what? Still busy. So I'm not going to deny this is super touristy, but absolutely quite worth it, and we just had to see it. It's just so different than Tokyo, even though, of course, it's been overrun. And Kyoto is like a major Japanese city. There's an urban core, as you can see. We're walking around. We're in the train station. It's got subways, it's got metros, and then businesses and offices, but pretty low rise in comparison to the rest of the country. So we're going to learn more about Kyoto and why this is so significant, because the most significant aspect of it was once Japan's capital. So we'll learn more about that. But first, let's drop our bags at the hotel, and then you only live once, time is short, so let's drop those bags off, and then we will embark on our first adventure, even though it's getting quite late in the day, but probably a perfect time to see what we're about to see. Alrighty, you ready to get some steps on? And this is going to be like a crazy labyrinth maze that's actually really easy to get through. This is the iconic spot of Kyoto. These are the Fushimi Inari Taisha torii gates. There's 10,000 torii gates in this. At the base of Fushimi Inari Taisha, the Shrine of Harvest, is the head shrine of the Kami Inari, and that's located at this base of mountain in Kyoto, where the 10,000 torii gates reside. So this is another site that's just difficult to process unless you see it. And what's beautiful here is I shot it right before we went up, and then I've shot it now at golden hour, and you can see how the character of the light just changes. And no matter where you go, every place you look, every angle, everything looks so different. It's just so much, how do I say it? I mean, it sounds almost cheapens it, but such eye candy and such beauty. It spans 2.5 miles up to the top of the mountain, that's Mount Inari at 764 feet, so it's very, very steep. It's just impossible with words to convey how incredible this site is, and I think that's for all people who come here. So let's just enjoy the walk. Let's walk around, let's stroll around, and really take in the whole place. And I'll be quiet now and let the pictures do the talking and my feet do the walking. Here we are looking at shrines, and more shrines at the Fushimi Inari Taisha torii gates. There are religious shrines everywhere throughout this, and I'm sure if we had more time we could really dive into what each one means and the significance. And I guess this is sometimes the problem with tourism. It's called fast tourism, where you're just running a lot. We can be guilty of this when sometimes something like this, it's time to stop and just immerse yourself in the moment and take it in. And so there are parts of this trip where we try to do that, but there's just so much to see. And as I told Carla, I said, this is going to be kind of like your Cliff's Notes taster, sampler of Japan. You could spend a lifetime here and not even scratch the surface. Well, it's nighttime, and you would think we are dog tired, and you would be right. But I think it's time for a little dinner, a little walk around in Kyoto's core and old city. This would be the Geisha entertainment district of Shiho. And it is bustling and busy and vibrant, just crackles with energy, and very, very historic. And we've arrived at dinner time, and it is difficult finding a place to eat. Not because there aren't many choices, but because there are the paralysis, the tyranny of choice. There are so many choices. But, as you know, the food here is exquisite. And it's not just sushi. You've heard of Wagyu, and you never forget your first time with Wagyu. And we are here in this place. It's like a steak speakeasy. It's unmarked. It's at the end of a long, anonymous hallway in these worn-out streets.
We just kind of walked in here, and then there was just a
long room.
We have our own private room, and all the rest upstairs is all private rooms.
Thank you.
We have Wagyu.
Yes.
Because that's how we like to do.
Thank you.
Wagyu is just exquisite and melts in your mouth like butter. And the thing about Japan is, it is so inexpensive right now because the dollar is so strong against the yen. Even though there's a lot of Japanese tourists as well who don't travel abroad right now, so there's a lot of tourists. But the food, this meal we're eating is our most expensive meal here, and I think it was around $70, including drinks. It's just, everything is a bargain. So you got to be careful not to gorge yourself because everything is just so reasonable, and it's impossible to have a bad meal here. Yes, our favorite. Thank you. You got it beautiful.
Thank you very much.
So, our first full day in Kyoto has arrived, and we're going to take it down a notch. We've been running and hustling around, so remember I talked about a little more quiet, slow tourism? That's what we're going to try, at least for the next few hours. So we're walking to the Philosopher's Walk, and we're just a country, rural, not really rural, but suburban neighborhood, and then it opens up to this pedestrian canal, and that is itself the Philosopher's Walk. And this is really spectacular. Again, in the spring, it's cherry tree lined canal in Kyoto, and that's when the blossoms come out in the spring. So in the summer, it's still beautiful, but not quite to that level. Now, I'm walking here in the morning, and then we're going to also show you what it looks like in the afternoon, and it completely changes the character of it when the light comes out. So it first opened in 1890, and it was extended again in 1912. And the 6-mile-long path follows the course of a shallow irrigation channel bringing water from the Lake Biwa Canal. And why is it named the Philosopher's Walk? Well, it's because two 20th century Japanese philosophers and Kyoto University professors were thought to have used it for daily exercise. And we were here 20 years ago in the winter when it was sparse of vegetation and brown, and it was still beautiful. But, oh my God, would we love to see the cherry tree blossoms of the spring in autumnal colors. That's the prime time to be here, especially when it's not 400,000 degrees Fahrenheit. But this city is still magical in this place that was once Japan's capital. So let's poke around a little bit. One of those things I like to do, I keep calling it Zilloing. If you've watched some of my videos, you know that I use that phrase for the app. I love poking around at residential neighborhoods. You get to really see how people live. And in Japan, because there's a declining birth rate and population has decreased, it's actually become a place where there's an excess of housing. And that's unusual in the world where there's a shortage. And a lot of people around the world are buying homes and fixing them up and trying to get visas to at least live here. The Japanese are very protective about people from foreign lands living full-time, but they do allow some investments and foreigners to own home. So just poking around into like some of the tea shops and flower shops and little knickknacks shops. One I really like here is this tea shop. It's kind of a mashup of tea and antiques. Particularly look at all these old cameras and phones and bric-a-brac. So really fun just looking around here and seeing the Victrola. That's an old word for record player, and the glassware, and then having a sip of tea. This feels like you've truly stepped back in time. So I have to say, I'm not necessarily a beer drinker, but I think we've arrived at beer time. It's not Miller time, it's Kyoto time, because they actually have a beer named Kyoto. So here we are at another part of Philosopher's Walk, and there's just a lot of beautiful homes and lights, and the light color changes so much when the sun comes out, and it becomes this beautiful summertime park atmosphere. It's beautiful, exquisite experience to see it, particularly when the sun is out. And now a moment of blinged out, gold-covered zen. Kinkakuji is a Buddhist temple whose top 2 floors are completely covered in gold leaf. Now the temple was the retirement villa of the shogun Ashikaga Yoshimitsu, and according to his will, it became a Zen temple of the Rinzai sect after his death. And this was like in 1408. Now it's burned down twice. Actually, it's burned down more than that throughout its history, including twice during the Onin War, which was a civil war that destroyed much of the city, and again, most recently in 1950. But it was set on fire at that point by a fanatic monk. This place, though, is such a survivor that they keep rebuilding it, and the present structure that we're seeing was rebuilt in 1955 and is now one of Japan's most famous selfie spots. This place was overrun and swarmed, but it is just so beautiful and a lot to take in. So let's just have a little bit of moment of zen. So we're going to walk around a little bit here in Kyoto, and in the old city, the Geisha district is also called Gion. And now, what's the thing about Geisha? You can see, I've got maybe a few videos and scenes where you can see behind them. It's really disrespectful to take pictures of them, certainly without asking, and so I try to respect that. I always try to respect that with people, particularly Geisha. They've been confused as with prostitutes, and they're definitely not that. And Geisha, which Kyoto is the epicenter of, it's a very elite society of women that are meant to be honored, respected, and admired, but they're not photographed, again, without asking permission. And the only ones who seem to, that I frankly had the gumption to ask, are these mannequins at this funky-looking restaurant with geisha mannequins, and they're pretty friendly to me. They didn't tell me no. I asked. So, by the way, what an eclectic restaurant and bar this is. I guess you'll never be alone here. So here we are in the Gion district, which is the epicenter of the geisha culture here in Kyoto. And traditionally, you're not supposed to photograph them, certainly without the permission. When they are revered and honored and admired and respected, and they're also exceedingly rare. Except here, and you don't see them everywhere. But luckily for me, this lovely lady, she consented for us to share a beer together. I asked her about her. She's far too modest for that, so very that's you, and I'm very rich, impressed. With the coin now, you carry yourself. Masala and Nara, because you don't see that. That's okay. I've experienced that in my life before. She has no interest. So it's late afternoon here in the domain of the beautiful geisha, and again, this is Kyoto's historic entertainment district. Now, what that means is there's restaurants, there's bars, there's karaoke, but this is where the geisha also, entertain. And exactly what that means is, often that means, a very lovely dance, but nothing, again, pornographic. It's ritual and tea, and it's very, very dignified and really a throwback to the era. So the geisha is an absolute icon of Japan. And that even in this area we see a lot of funky signs, so like some of these signs are just so ridiculous and crazy, but it's really neat walking around here through these warren of this area and all these buildings and canals. Now it's 5 o'clock, and it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and it's definitely 5 o'clock here in the center of Kyoto on a summer's day, and we are swarmed because it's quitting time. The Japanese work, but they also know how to relax, and increasingly much more so than they used to. So it's 5 o'clock in the center of Kyoto along the Kamo River and the main drag around Shirodori Street, and it is pumping. I'm going to take a lovely walk up and down the riverfront and see what people are doing. It's not really a place you'd want to swim or kite surf. It's not that kind of river. It's a little bit more of a irrigation, and not an industrial canal, but just a beautiful center place. And what you see around here is, here's a little video of a singer, of a Japanese busker. And does anybody recognize this song? I'll give you the answer, but just don't stop me now. Now this is pretty cool as we take the walk up and down the river, notice all the elevated restaurants and bars that are lined the river, and people just kind of taking in and strolling and riding bicycles and walking the scene. It just feels so beautiful and summery, and I've heard that this actually freezes over in the winter. When we were here, it wasn't frozen, but I've heard it can freeze over at times. So now as nightfall approaches, Kyoto becomes this very romantic place with these warm Japanese lanterns, and it becomes maze-like as you traipse these warrens of little streets and unmarked restaurants, and many of these are extremely local, and they're not necessarily open to tourists. I mean, a lot of this place is obviously tourist. It's a center of nightlife, but just seeing the umbrellas and the lights and the vibe, it reminds you of the fascinating contrast of Japan, of being such a modern, high-tech society with such an ancient culture, and a culture that is so strong in a world that in some ways is getting more homogenized. The Japanese have always been, a little bit isolationist, frankly. That's what brought on World War II, but been accused of being somewhat xenophobic and not necessarily welcoming to foreigners. They're very gracious as tourists, but as far as people penetrating the society and using derisive terms, like they consider us, what I've heard the phrase gaijin, but the reality is that the Japanese have been able to cling on to a very strong culture that still exists without becoming so westernized, and you really kind of get a feel for that here in Kyoto. So let's go have some dinner. So without a doubt, this is the finest, most succulent, buttery, mouth-melting meat meal of teppanyaki our taste buds have ever experienced. Our taste buds are just over the moon. And this gastronomic bargain of Kobe and Wagyu beef just set us back about $85 for the three of us. And that includes 2 glasses of wine for Dad. And this weak yen makes this place such a bargain. I keep saying that. It's not going to last forever. But just enjoy this meatocracy. Well, we're going to walk back home, taking a little bit of the night and the warm summer breeze, because we have a special father and son adventure that's going to be quite spectacular, quite different, and Caleb has no idea what's about to happen. He won't know. But trust me, it's going to be good. So let's get some sleep for the next day. Well, today is our last day here in Kyoto, and we could really spend a week here. Now, it is blisteringly hot, and I mean oppressively hot. Yeah, it feels like half the city, once we, as you can see, have taken a train, a bus out to the outskirts, kind of partially desolate. Maybe it's just they're taking siestas. It's just too excruciatingly inferno-like to be outside, but we're intrepidly outside because we've got some cool stuff that we want to see. Now, Kyoto is famous for one of Japan's most famous, garden cities, and it's renowned for its landscape. And this particular garden and trek we do in these locations are not necessarily so easily reachable by car, so we've got to do walking. And by walking, I mean a lot of walking. So we are going up here to Okochi, Sansō, and this is literally the former home and garden of a Japanese actor, famous Japanese actor, by the way, in Arashiyama, Kyoto. And this tranquil trail meanders, it rises and falls against the sound sphere of cicadas, with these incredible vistas of Kyoto at the top. And oh my God, it just must be marvelous to see in the autumn or spring. So we'll just take a walk around and soak in some calm and zen, which is, a bit what you come to Kyoto for in spite of all the crowds. We've managed to escape quite a few crowds in this particular location. As we walk through this part of Kyoto, we see a lot of cemeteries and sacred stones and shrines, and that is really interesting. And I have to tell you, be forewarned, take a map, because the phones and the Google Maps don't necessarily make any sense when you're trying to navigate this. And I kind of think the locals, maybe they want it that way. All right, now, you cannot come to Kyoto without visiting the bamboo grove at Arashiyama. So this bamboo grove, or Sagano bamboo forest, is a natural forest, and what it consists of mostly are these towering moso bamboo. And there's just something magical about the way the light kind of dapples through on the forest floor from the trees, and it's worth the 30-minute train ride to the outskirts of the city just to take in this Kamo oasis, even with the summer crowds. This is really something spectacular. From the mayhem yesterday of Universal Studios Osaka to this spectacularly tranquil and calm scene, these towers of towering big bamboo that are beautiful. They're bambootiful.
Bamboozled.
They've been bamboozled into seeing something bambootiful.
Yeah, I'm
We
gonna die these bad jokes.
are dripping with sweat like I haven't since I was a teenager in Utica, Mississippi.
It's retro. Only one problem is now we understand what it means to say something is hotter than Hades, because it really is. So incredible to be here. And this is one of those places that would be remarkable to see late in the evening or early in the morning, not just because of the light changing, but because it's probably a whole lot cooler. Hardworking.
Yeah, no problem.
Super hardworking.
We are so strong.
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
Should be in the Olympics. It's an Olympic sport. So as we come on down from the bamboo garden, I think we're all a little hungry, and there's a lot of these funky tourist shops, and one of them is Snoopy Chocolat, when peppermint patties just won't do. I knew Snoopy was a thing, but I didn't know Snoopy Chocolate was a thing, and there's a few of these around Japan, and just the detail of all this is enough to make your inner Charlie Brown or your inner Linus blush. I don't see anything with, what was the little bird's name from Snoopy? Birdie? There's a little piece of Birdie, but this is an entire chocolate store where everything is, well, this is just, frankly, this is nuts. I mean, this is peanuts. Chocolate Shield should be very, very proud. And we've discovered another little snack bar, and so just fun flavors and colors. And I just think some of these names like, Fishing Fruits, Ninja Shaved Ice, just a lot of really wacky, that's a kaleidoscope of color and all the tastes in the spectrum. So just had to stop here and take in some fun food shots. And what is this funky car we see? This micro Rolls Royce branded the Wraithette in Kyoto. There's this huge micro car subculture here in Japan, and there's a lot of funky subcultures here. That's one of the joys of Japan, is that this stuff is all over the place, but I just couldn't resist. Oh dear, my wife Carla chose her own special side trip, visiting Nara, which contains the Nara National Museum, Torii Temple, and innumerable ancient Shinto shrines. But for my dear wife, the deer lover, it was all about the deer. Nara Park spans 1,240 acres, which provides room for approximately 1,200 deer, or about twice as many deer as full-time humans in this park. Guides say they were called Shika deer, which is actually redundant because Shika is just the Japanese word for deer, so it's like deer. Anyway, historically they were considered divine messengers, and the legend goes that the thunder god appeared in Nara riding on a white deer, and the deer carried a scroll in its mouth. And the thunder god, whose Japanese name I won't even try pronouncing, warned the awestruck mortals who behold him that from that point on, the deer would report their actions to the gods. So the humans took note, built shrines, and granted the deer protection. And killing one of these sacred Nara deer was punishable by death, and why would you want to do it anyway? And so for hundreds of years, the animals roamed freely. They became semi-tame around humans, these miniature sweet deer, but they can get downright aggressive, losing their fearlessness that most deer species possess, because obviously there's humans everywhere. So they're in everybody's business, especially if you feed them deer crackers, which is like catnip for deer, but they love them. And if you don't share your crackers with them, you may pay dearly. Okay, I'll stop with these deer puns. Dear God. All right, good morning. Well, now we're at our second full day in Kyoto, but we're not actually going to Kyoto. We're going to Osaka. We are riding the rails on the JR for a very special experience for Caleb. This is something that someone very special that we know pulled some strings to make this next adventure happen, because this is something we didn't plan, and you need to plan far ahead if you're going to do it right. So I have to thank my friend, former boss, mentor, all around incredible person, John Miller, for getting us into this. We have a special pass here to Universal Studios Japan, and John had to pull some strings. And the reason we didn't consider it initially was we couldn't make the reservation to have the right package to include Super Nintendo World and Fast Passes, their equivalent thereof. You have to make these reservations months in advance, and if you don't, there are certain parks you just simply can't get into, or you can only get a limited number of Fast Pass. But we're only here for a day, and we need to make every moment count. So we're getting here nearly at opening time, and we're going to stay until the bitter end. We think we have swallowed a lot of psychedelic mushrooms, but no, these are actual little shop of horrors like talking mushrooms, and we've arrived. Where else could it be? First stop at Universal Studios has to be Super Nintendo World, because this isn't quite in America yet, though it is coming to Universal Studios Orlando. So let's go and see what Mario and Luigi have. We've got our green and red bands, and we're going to power up for a day of madness, and let's see what this place is like.
What does this mean? I'm Mario.
Because he's the short one, and I'm Luigi because I'm tall.
But that means who's the plumber?
Who's the plumber?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, we're both plumbers.
We're both plumbers, okay, but
Yeah.
Isn't Mario the boss though, because his name's first?
Sure.
Mario's the smart one, right?
They're both kind of dumb, I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
But
All right, so we are here at Super Mario Nintendo Luigi World, and we're in Osaka, and this was not easy. So power up, we go. Move over closer. What exactly is that on your head?
it's a toad hat.
And what do you do with a toad hat?
You wear it and look stupid.
I don't think that looks stupid here. I think that's in style.
Oh yeah, totally.
And what do you got there? Power band.
Yeah.
All right.
What do we call this, Dad? Say it with me. Social suicide.
All right.
Yay!
But nobody knows here. In
Yeah.
Japan, that's just called fitting in. It just looks normal. They're all cool with it.
Yeah, and they don't know what that means either, so we can just yell it as loud as possible.
All right, let's go. All right, here we go. This is super creepy. We are in mind overload. I think we just ate the mushrooms on your head, or the ones we just swallowed.
On God, yeah. This is us in hallucination world. Love it.
All right, here's a vertical one for your records.
This is social suicide.
Okay, I'm not gonna put it anywhere except here.
Get coins.
Go. 1, 2, 3, 2. How many are you supposed to do? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How do you play? What do you do? Wow. No way. No way. Oh, boom. Boom, boom. With Bowser, yeah.
welcome back. This is my pimp daddy. His name is Jaquan. Jaquan, no stepping on your block. If them ladies no stepping on their jobs, I mean, them 40 naughty shorties ain't getting past it. And it's bonus feature. Now I don't have to use no hands. I'm like, oh, get that jerk chicken. Get it in the sauce.
Okay, I'll pull it again. What do I got? What is it? Bumbleclot.
Bumbleclot pimp daddy.
Ow. I slap you up. I slap you up. Slap it up.
Slap me up, Bumbleclot.
So next up is the power-up band games here at Nintendo World. So you strap on those wristbands, you sync it up, and boom, you're in the game. Smacking question blocks, collecting virtual coins, unlocking secret keys. It's basically real-life Mario. My son was a total pro. I mean, he was like born for this. Speed, strategy, pure instinct. I was watching a legend in the making. And me, well, not so much. But I did bring some enthusiasm. But even if you're not racking up high scores, the experience is pure magic. It's like actually stepping into the game.
Oh, it's my bad, probably. I'm the kid you never want to pick for the kickball.
So after a really crazy morning, it was time for lunch in Nintendo World, where the food is almost as immersive as the rides. So we stepped into Kinopio's cafe, and wow, it was adorable. Giant mushrooms, pixel-perfect decor. Even the food looks like it came straight out of a Mario game. It's kind of hard to tell, I can see, because it's dark. Now I ordered one of these really cool themed meals, super cute, super detailed. Tasted great, but not gonna lie, there was something in it that almost took me out. Kind of like Bowser hit me with a blue shell midday level of out. So it was really delicious, a bit intense, but eat at your own risk, folks.
Aki daki. Oh, hey. Oh. Kinopio, yokoso.
All right, so if this is a secret part of the park, can you secret character?
Well, go ahead. Wow.
Which one is it?
It's Princess Peach.
Go! Yay, let's go.
On my way down memory lane, you and me long time ago, and we were teens with tremendous dreams, always playing king and queen. We had set our minds to leave.
Look back over here.
This is so dumb.
Big thumbs up.
Face the world on wheels, cross the borders of Morocco, take a journey to Dubai, fight the pirates stuck in Disneyland.
Thank you.
Take a swim in salty water to this crazy melody. Oh, and then we cross America.
So we're back in the Harry Potter Wizarding World, this time instead of Universal Studios LA. Of course, we're still in Japan. Now, we thought we knew what to expect, and, you know, it's pretty similar, but you step into Hogsmeade here, across the Pacific, and it's kind of a weird parallel universe, but still gave us lots of chills. You got the snow-covered rooftops, the sound of the Hogwarts Express, your butterbeer. It's all the same magic, just a slightly different vibe. But let's be real, it's all about the wands. And once you've got one in hand, you have the power for the whole land to become your playground. The windows reacting, objects moving, water flowing. It's not just for kids, it's for anyone who's ever imagined casting a spell and watching things just happen. Really cool, wizarding joy no matter how old you are. And my son, again, he's a wand master.
It's a beautiful matte black with
sharp engravings all over it. It's very sleek.
Very nice. Very nice.
As you know, I'm great with playing with wands, paws.
So Caleb's met some new friends. He's showing off with these guys. This is Gon and Mizuko, and they're showing how to throw the bling sign. I guess these are Japanese gang signs, and they came down from Kyoto on the same train as us. But they're locals, and they're very cool and friendly. And apparently they like Arizona.
He's teaching you how to throw bling from the... now do the 305. Show him how to do the 305. No, you go like this. You go like this, watch. 305, that's Miami. That's called dropping 305 from Miami.
So as the sun dips below the skyline, Hollywood Land at Universal Studios Japan truly comes alive. The neon lights flicker on, and suddenly you're not just a visitor, you're a star on set. You stroll past Mel's Drive-In where chrome and milkshakes, movie magic. Classic cars line the street and the jukebox hums with retro charm. Nearby, the Hollywood Dream roller coaster launches into the night sky. Lights blazing, music pumping, and screams echoing like applause. We actually rode this, but I couldn't shoot video on it. We could barely hang on to that thing. That's how we ended the whole day. And then you can catch a live street performance or duck into Universal Monsters Rock and Roll Show. The lines were a bit too long and we were running out of time. Didn't get to do those either. But the shop fronts feel alive. Vintage facades, glowing with old school glamour, tucked beside photo ops, straight out of a classic film. Really cool during the day, but at night, pure cinematic magic.
All right, Caleb, what'd you just do? You were concerned about doing this one, then what happened?
That was the coolest thing I've ever done. Like,
Describe it.
it was just so immersive. We were fighting demons. Man, I felt like a Christian for a second with all those demon fighting. I mean, we had swords too. It was lit.
Best day, you said best day ever? One of the best days ever?
Best day ever.
And here we are at Universal Studios at the famous sign. You could be forgiven for thinking that you were in Universal City, California in the San Fernando Valley instead of Osaka in the Kansai region of Japan. Universal Studios Japan is the next level great. It's just ridiculous. And it's Asia's busiest park and the world's third busiest theme park, and it just crackles with energy. Yes, it's busier than Disney. And like everything, the hospitality, the entertainment in the country, it's clean, it's cheerful, it's run with precision and perfection. And we're also, as a staff, wave at you as you depart on a ride or applaud your return and constantly praise your swag and souvenirs. I mean, these guys have it down. And Universal, just like Disney, here surprisingly doesn't oversell and try to merch you to death either. On top of that, the crowds, though they're huge, everyone is just so polite. No one tries to cut lines. And I just say it was fantastic. The Hollywood Dream roller coaster, my son and I did that. I did not barf, nor did he. Came close. The Demon Slayer, truly ridiculously fantastic. And my son Caleb says it was his best day ever. And you know what? Being with him, doing this surprise experience, one of mine too. So again, thank you to John for pulling some strings so we could actually get in time to this place. We've reached the very end of the night and we're running through Citywalk. Ordinarily, I'd love to have dinner or a beer or something, but we have to run because there's only one train left and we've got a 90-minute train, actually 2 trains to catch back to Kyoto, and this is the last one out. And so if we don't make it, I guess we'll be sleeping in Osaka. I don't think that would go over well. But man, what a day. So we should make it back by midnight by just sheer luck. And crowds at this hour in Japan? Really? Please?